Hello, friends. This is another episode of Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. Tomahawks of Fear, how Russian television is preparing the country for a new phase of war. Yesterday, the Russian program 60 Minutes featured more than just a news feed. It was a code-checking of the war between Moscow, Kyiv and Washington, mediated by television, where every word is carefully calibrated. Skabeeva and her guests weren't arguing. They were articulating a new strategic reality. There is no peace, only escalation remains. 1. The beginning, from asymmetric strikes to tomahawks. The program opens with the assertion that President Zelenskyy has allegedly switched to open threats to Russia and agreed on asymmetric strikes with the SBU. The words certainly sound provocative, but far more important is the context the host immediately sets. Moscow needs to sober up. Next, a new axis of conflict bursts onto the airwaves. Tomahawk missiles, a symbol of American long-range power. Skabeeva quotes the Washington Post and the Times, presenting the possible transfer of these missiles to Ukraine as a turning point and a catastrophe. The rhetoric is no accident. Russia is officially registering its fear of the new weapons, thereby justifying further retaliatory actions. Kyiv wants to cause a blackout in Kursk and Belgorod, it said almost casually. For domestic viewers, this is code. The war has come home. For external viewers, it's a signal that Moscow is preparing to consider strikes on its territory as a pretext for retaliatory attacks of any force. 2. Political story, the US tango and the pause in negotiations. The story then shifts to Donald Trump. He is quoted on the air as speaking of settling the Eighth War and tango American style. One side leads, the other follows. Skabeeva explains this. If Moscow doesn't want to dance to American music, the conflict will drag on for years. This isn't just a figure of speech. A new narrative about Trump is being shaped on Russian television. He's no longer a friend of Moscow, as he was in 2016, but a pragmatic orchestrator using Ukraine as an instrument of pressure. Thus, the audience is being convinced that the US isn't a peaceful savior. On the contrary, Washington is now the main driver of the war. Meanwhile, from the Kremlin, Peskov confirmed a pause in negotiations. The television logic is perfectly constructed.